أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين خاتم النبيين سيدنا مرسلين حبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم محمد الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين السلام عليك يا حسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين السلام عليك يا عباس بن علي السلام عليك يا إمام المهدي يا صاحب العصر والزمان صلوات السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. We are continuing with our journey towards perfection. And contrary to the belief of many that we are not perfect, which is true, we are not perfect when we are born. But there are two types of imperfection when we are born. One is the physical body and the other is the spiritual. The physical body Allah has created is perfect. There is no flaw in Allah's creation. So for a human being to say constantly that we are not perfect defies the very idea or the very thought process of what we should be doing towards Allah. The body is perfect. The Quran says, have you seen any flaw in Allah's creation? No, you have not. The rain, the clouds, the thunder, the earth itself, the sea, the ocean, the sky, everything has been created perfect. So what is the problem with mankind? He created us with a goal, not his goal, our goal. Today, we're going to talk about or go into a deeper understanding of what I touched upon yesterday. I mentioned yesterday that submission has three levels. The first level of submission is the body. When you're in a war, you are subdued. You tell the person who is subduing you, I surrender. That means your body has surrendered. That's it. The second level of submission is the intellect, our mind. Somebody can torture us as much as they want, but as long as our mind has submitted to the truth, that's all that matters. And the third level of submission is the heart. The soul, the qalb, whichever way we want to call it. When I refer to the heart in my lecture today, I'm referring to the very essence of the creation of mankind, and that is the soul. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةِ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا, who created death and life to try you as to which of you is the best in deeds. In other words, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it does not matter how many deeds you do good. It does not matter. What matters to Allah is the quality of the deeds, not the quantity. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhaakumut takathur hatta zurtumul makabir. Allah says in the Holy Quran, abundance diverts you. During the time of the Holy Prophet, let's say you had a tribe that had 100 people, another tribe had also 100 people. So they wanted to show their might, that our tribe is bigger and stronger. You know what they would do? They would dig the graves. And they would count the number of people in the graves. And they would then say, look, we have 30 people who are dead here, you only have 20. So we are 130, you are 120, we are stronger. This is when the verse was revealed. Alhaakumut takathur. Abundance diverts you حَتَّى زُرْتُمُ الْمَقَابِرِ, until you come to your graves, you'll realize the only thing that matters are the deeds that you have sent to Allah, that from your heart as well. And then he says in Surah number 35, ayah number 10, إِلَيْهِ يَسْعَدُ الْكَلِمُ الطَّيِّبُ وَالْعَمَلُ الصَّالِحُ يَرْفَعُ. To him rises the pure word and good deeds that he raises. This verse, according to many scholars, is referring to the fact that for every action that you do which is good and directed towards Allah, yani with sincerity, ikhlas, intention, good intention, your faith also increases. But not only that, when your faith increases, your actions also increase. It is not possible for a man who has a good intention, he's sitting on the sofa, flipping through channels. I want to build a mosque, one day he's just thinking to himself, I want to build he's flipping through channels. He has the means, the ability to build a mosque, but he's thinking, inshallah, one day I'll build it. Allah knows my intention. That's not the intention God is talking about. When you have the means, when you say you want to do something for the sake of God, then make sure you do it. Why? Because the moment you do that action, remember, this ayah is saying your faith also increases. Don't just sit back and say, I'm going to do it someday. Recite a salawat, please. Before we go into talking deeper about intention, we have to understand one thing. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alif Lam Mim Dhalikal Kitabu La Rayba Fi Hudan Lil Muttaqin. Allah says that this book, the Quran, Dhalikal Kitabu La Rayba Fi Hudan Lil Muttaqin. This book is a guidance for those who are muttaqeen. Muttaqeen means what? Pious. A person who has achieved or who is attaining or who is going towards the path of taqwa. This is all that matters. There's another verse in the Holy Quran that Allah says, وَتُزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى وَاتَّقُونَ. And take a provision with you for the journey. Which journey? The journey of our life. Although this is referring to the journey of Hajj, but this book is for all times. So Allah says in the Holy Quran, take a provision with you for the journey. When I came over here, I was allowed 2 pieces of suitcases, but they were not empty. I had to bring my clothes. I had to take a provision over here so that I do not burden somebody except for the winter coat. But generally when you go on a journey, you have to take what you have to use in that side. Then he says, the best of the provisions are those who have or who are muttaqeen. Those who have righteousness in conduct. So, if you want to do something good, we need to have taqwa. This is the starting of what I want to speak of. Piety. There are 4 levels of taqwa. The first level of taqwa is warai ta'biri. Taqwa comes from the word waqaya. Taqwa means piety. Waqaya means to abstain, to stay away from. So a person who wants to achieve piety has to stay away from something. And what is that? The first level, warai ta'biri. This means that the first step of taqwa which Allah will judge you on is to stay away from that which is forbidden. That is the first level. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. This book is for those who stay away from that which Allah has forbidden. That's the first level. Difficult, isn't it? We live in a society whereby it is so easy to sin everywhere. I'm not only talking about here. Even back home where I come from. The rampantness of the lack of value of ethics and morals that the West wants to promote is even there. There is no value or morals or ethics anymore. To stay away from sin is even harder in a small island called Mombasa, which is only 12 square miles. It is true. The first level of taqwa, to stay away from sins. The second level of taqwa, warai salihin, is to stay away from doubtful things. You might sometimes be faced when you go to a restaurant. You might ask yourself, is this halal? Is this haram? It is true that benefit of the doubt or reason says you don't have to investigate too much. It is true. But if there is a certain level of doubt in your mind that is leaning towards the haram, then it is better to stay away from it. That's the second level. The first one, stay away from everything haram. The second one, you stay away from that which is doubtful. That is wara al-salihin. The third level, wara al-muttaqeen. Believe it or not, wara al-muttaqeen is to stay away from that which is permissible. That which you are allowed to do, that has no good or bad, you are allowed to do it, but you stay away from it. So that by mistake you do not enter into anything that is haram. For example, a friend invites you to a party or a wedding, and you don't know, they tell you maybe there is music involved. To attend a wedding is permissible. Some of our scholars have said that even though you know that wedding is permissible and you know there's music being played, the least you do in order to not offend somebody, go wish that person, congratulate him and leave. But if you don't know whether there's music or not, and you know the possibility exists because both the man and the wife like music and there's a possibility they'll have it, it is better to stay away from such. Then number 4, wara al-sadiqeen. This is to stay away from anything that is not religious. In other words, you are reading a magazine, an auto magazine. Or you want to go to a Habs game. I'm not focusing on anything particular, but these levels are very difficult to achieve. To stay away from something that is not religious at all. Now, you might ask, how is it possible I will achieve level number 4? Nobody has said we should achieve level number 4 by tonight. The first step is level 1. The moment we try our initiative, our intention to stay away from level 1 followed by action, Allah Himself says, you do not worry about anything else, level 2, 3 and 4. Automatically, when you try level 1, level 2, 3 and 4 will come towards you. You do not have to worry about it. Sometimes when we listen to lectures like this, level 4, I can't do it. Level 3, impossible. Level 2, maybe. Level 1 is difficult. And then we put ourselves down. Nobody's asked us to reach level 4 right now, and that is not my also intention over here for this lecture tonight. But I want to give you one example to show a man who could reach level 4. There was a farmer who went to Ayatollah Khomeini. I bring his example a lot. That man was a gem. He had reached perfection. Do you know how many people want to emulate the life of Imam Khomeini? Because he was a perfect man. People saw in him perfection. So this farmer goes to the Imam. He unfortunately was in his last days of his life. And he was in the hospital. And this farmer brings a watermelon to the Imam. And he gives it to him. The Imam takes the watermelon and he puts it on the side. You may have heard this, but sometimes in a different context, the same story brings about a different awareness. So the farmer says, Ya Imam, no, please, have some of this. This is grown from my farm. I would enjoy it if you have some of it. So Imam Khomeini did not want to offend him. He said, fine, we'll cut a piece. They cut a piece. He takes the watermelon, the Imam, and then he starts putting a lot of salt. So the farmer said, Ya Imam, no, it is sweet, don't worry about it. The Imam replied, he says, I know it is sweet, but the reason why I am putting salt over it is so that my heart does not get attracted to the pleasures of this world. He did not want to taste the pleasure of this world. He had already tasted the pleasures of the next world. When you and I are able to taste the pleasures of the next world, then level 4 comes into effect. We have no worries about what level 3 is, 4 is, or whatever.